Hi, welcome to Kat's Bookend. I'm going to do a tag today from Kristen's library. She got it from someone else, but I was so excited about it. I'm like, oh, me, let me do it. She said, sure. So what I have to do is I have to answer all these questions in this I Dare You tag, answer them truthfully, and then tag 4 other people. And I'm going to tag 4 people. I might not know them that well yet because I'm new to BookTube, but I figure what a way to get to know people, then maybe tag them into some really interesting and fun book tags. We'll see what happens. This is, I thought the reason that I liked this book tag is because these questions are questions that will maybe help you to get to know me a little more as a booktuber. So here goes. There are 19 questions. Number 1, what book has been on your shelf the longest? This one, Better Homes and Gardens Junior Cookbook for Beginning Cooks of All Ages. Look at it. I mean, this is from when I was like a little girl. And I still think it's an excellent cookbook. But it has been on my shelf for the longest because that was a long time ago, right? Okay. The next question. What is your current read, your last read, and the book you'll read next? Okay, my current read is going to be these 2 books, Between Two Fires by Christopher Pullman and The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. My last read, which I did not like at all, was Syracuse. And then my future read is going to be Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. This cover's so pretty, even though I think that that's a dead body under the water. I could be wrong, but it is a pretty, pretty book. Okay, the next one. What book did everyone like, but you hated? Well, that would have to be The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I just didn't like it. It was slow. It was a chore to read, and once I put it down after so many pages, I never wanted to pick it up again. I gave it away. Too slow for me, not my cup of tea. Okay. What book do you keep telling yourself you'll read, but you probably won't? Well, that's the Bible. I know I'll probably burn for that, but that's the Bible. I've read bits and pieces here and there, but I don't think I'll ever read the entire thing. No matter how much I tell myself you're going to read the Bible more and maybe go to some Bible discussions, I don't think so. Okay. Yes, it'd be number 5 we're on now, okay? What book are you saving for retirement? None really. I mean, I know I'll probably still be reading horror. I guarantee you I'll still be reading horror. Who knows, maybe I'll not read then. But I hope I still have a love of reading even as I get older. Okay. Number 6. The last page of a book. You going to read it first or are you going to wait till the end? Oh, I'm definitely going to wait till the end, 100%. What's the point of reading it first? You just ruined the whole story. There's no point in even reading it. Next question. Are the acknowledgements a waste of paper and ink, or are they an interesting aside? I think they're an interesting aside. You get to know a lot more about the author when you're reading it. Like, even though I didn't like the book Syracuse, I enjoyed reading the acknowledgements because you learn about everything that the author did to research the book. Name a book. Okay, no, I almost skipped a couple questions there. Which book character would you switch places with? That would be Katniss Everdeen. She's strong. She's beautiful. She has a great personality. All the men want her. And she's very, very successful at what she does. So I'd want to be Katniss Everdeen. Of course, without all the horror that she has to go through. I mean, I like horror, but I don't want to go through it. But yes, Katniss Everdeen. All right. Number 9. Do you have a book that reminds you of something specific in your life, like a place, time, or person? Yep, Hidden Mickeys, a field guide to Walt Disney World's best kept secrets. I have fond memories of searching for the hidden Mickeys every time I go to Disney World with my husband. It's a lot of fun. I mean, that place to me is awesome. It's not just for kids, it's also for adults. And I always have a great time. And we have a nice romantic time, my husband and I. So this book gives me fond memories. Okay, the next question. Name a book that you acquired in an interesting way. Well, unfortunately, I don't have that with me now because I lent it to a friend of mine who's still reading it. But I figured this had to be the answer to that question. I got a copy of a horror story called Zombie Forest. And it's from the author P.M. Thomas. It's signed. He wrote me a little note. He gave it to me for free. I really love the book, but I thought it was awesome because, like, I met this author online, and he's also a screenwriter, and we got to talking because we have a lot in common, and he loves horror. So I just always thought that that was awesome that I got a book from him that he wrote. Number 11. Have you ever given a book away for a special reason to a special person? Yes, I've read many books that I thought my husband would like, and I gave them to him. I've also given some books to my mother. I read this one book called Mama Makes Up Her Mind, and it was a bunch of anecdotes about the mother of this reporter or journalist, and I thought it was really awesome. I loved it, and I gave it to my mother because I thought she'd enjoy it too, and she was like, this doesn't seem like the type of book you would usually read. And I'm like, I know, right? But I loved it. And she liked it too. Okay, number 12. Which book has been with you most places? Okay, I would say the Junior Cookbook. But I'm not going to say that because this has traveled with me to my dorm rooms, to all of my apartments, whereas the cookbook, I didn't take it to my dorm in the college. So I picked this Macbeth by William Shakespeare. I was in a play. One of the plays that I was in college was Shadowed in Blood. It was Lady Macbeth's side of the story. And I was in that, so a friend of mine found this in an antique shop and gave it to me. And it's been on every shelf of every dorm room, every shelf of every apartment. So that's Macbeth by Shakespeare. Number 13. Any required reading you hated in high school that wasn't so bad 2 years later? No. I hope it doesn't look like I'm cheating on this one because I'm actually going to talk about a book that I loved. But I did not like any of my required reading. I just was like, no. And even 2 years later, I still felt the same about it. Some of them were like a chore to read. But I had to do a project my senior year. I had to pick a book to present to the class. And for some reason, I chose A Clockwork Orange. I guess I had heard about it. I thought it sounded interesting. I like creepy sci-fi, cerebral sci-fi. So I thought, why not? As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing a video including A Clockwork Orange. So I've been researching it even more now. And I feel like, as the years go on, I'm appreciating it even more than I did when I was in high school. Okay, number 14. Used or brand new? Excuse me. I say used. I'm not a collector of books. I don't keep books on my shelf unless I haven't read them or they're reference books of some kind, like Encyclopedia Cthulhuana, Hidden Mickeys, or what have you, travel books. But when I read a book, I just pass it on for other people to enjoy them. So I figure, why spend all that money on the new book? Just get a used one cheaper and read it and pass it on. And also, sometimes with the used ones, you get the original covers from like the 70s and the 80s, and those are freaking awesome. Okay, number 15. Have you ever read a Dan Brown book? No, I have not. Have you ever seen a movie that you liked more than the book? Well, that would be A Clockwork Orange. I loved the book, but the reason I say I liked the movie a little bit more than the book, only a little bit more, because the book was so awesome. Well, the movie had Stanley Kubrick directing it, and it had his visuals, which was awesome with this story. It worked perfectly well. And then you got to see Malcolm McDowell's brilliant characterization of the lead character, the psychotic Alex. So that really added to it. Okay, number 17. Have you ever read a book that's made you hungry, cookbooks included? Yes, indeed. This one. I've had many of the recipes in here, and they might seem plain, but they were delicious, like the potato salad, Peppy Frank pizza. Some of these are really basic, but they're good. There's something in here called Sunny Carrots, and it's so delicious. Really good. It looks really simple, but it tastes so good. See, there we go, Sunny Carrots. And very few ingredients, yet it tasted awesome. And easy to do, too. These are easy recipes. I've had this scalloped corn. I've pretty much tried everything in this book. They even have drinks you can make, desserts. Oh, these peanut butter cupcakes are to die for. Okay, so every time I see this book on my shelf, because I have many cookbooks, but I see this and I get hungry because I have fond memories of these recipes. Okay. Number 18. Who's the person whose book advice you'll always take? No particular person, really. I do read a lot of horror sites, and I kind of take their advice. Different authors, when they say that they like a book or they have a certain book on their shelf, I look into it and maybe read it. I know that I looked at a list of, there's this author, okay? He's a horror author. His name is Keelan Patrick Burke. And he writes collections of horror stories, and I think he just recently wrote one that's like one full story. But in the back of one of his ebooks, he had a list of what's on his shelf. And they sounded so good, and I kind of followed his advice based on what he had on his shelf. That's Keelan Patrick Burke, if you want to look him up. Okay. Number 19. Is there a book out of your comfort zone, outside your usual reading genre, that you ended up loving? Yes. Amazonia by James Rollins. James Rollins is like an adventure novelist. Like kind of a... He's not anything like Dan Brown, no. Not at all. But he goes into, it's more military adventure, jungle adventure, under the sea adventure, adventure in the Middle East. And I just grabbed that book because of the cover. One summer I was visiting at my hometown, and I went into the pharmacy and saw this book. I wanted something to read at night, and I thought, okay, I'll try this because this cover looks pretty intriguing. And I really was skeptical. I didn't think that I'd like it at all. Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. I mean, it was fantastic. The story was just so... It was engaging, okay? And the characters were engaging, and you felt like you were right on the adventure with them. And there were all sorts of huge wild cats in it, and something about a big tree that has healing powers, piranha, gigantic alligators, you name it. It was a lot of fun. Suspenseful, too. So there you have it. That's my I Dare You book tag. And I'm going to tag 4 people. Okay. Let me get my notes here. Okay. I'm going to tag Remembered Reads, Paperback Junkie, Brit, and the Halo Grower. And I'm going to be doing a tag from the Halo Grower soon. I'll be doing that tag because he's tagged people. And it's more of a like romantic or book lover type of tag. I think that's going to be interesting to do and fun to do. The only thing with that is I don't know if I can come up with the books, because everything I want to talk about are books that I don't have right at this point. But anyway, Remembered Reads, Paperback Junkie, Brit, the Halo Grower, and heck, anybody else that wants to do this, give it a try. I'll put information down below. Thanks for stopping by.